Hello, everyone. My name is Dominic Copeland, and this is the Ish That Needs to Be Said. Welcome back. So, again, what this podcast is about the things that need to be said, but no one either wants to say them or can say them. And I decided, you know what, it needs to be said, and I guess I'm the one to say it. How that happened, I don't know, but I'm here, I'm ready, so let's do it. Why I'm doing this, what you can expect. The truth that most people either don't know or won't tell you. That's why I'm here. To talk about it, to speak about it, to hear your thoughts, your comments about it as well. I'm doing this because it needs to be done. I'm doing this because at some point we have to allow ourselves the freedom to speak the truth, speak honestly, do away with all the lies, all the things that cover up and keep us from uniting. It's time for us to unite, time for us to come together. And I wanted to take this time to reinforce what I said on my first episode about the need for unity. Unity amongst us here in the United States of America, unity within our local communities, unity amongst us as a planet. We only have one planet, one home space. It's the Earth. I know some people are trying to lead us to another place, go to Mars and other places and start to habitate there. But you know what? We got a good planet right here. Damn good planet. I like it. And I'd rather keep it. So let's not mess it up to such a degree that we can't inhabit it, we can't live here, and we can't enjoy it. So all those people trying to fly off to space and other places, how about we put that investment right back here on this beautiful planet that we've been ingratiated with. So for those who choose to stand up and do the right thing, even when the right thing is the most difficult thing to do, I'm here. And as we rise to stand together against the oncoming tide, I wanted to do so to utilize an updated take on the poem, First They Came. I'm not sure if you heard about this before. I think many of you have, but this is a poem that was about the Holocaust and back in World War II, and someone who was a pastor who at the time did not stand up. At the time, his story, he was actually against the Jews of the community, and then saw the atrocities of what was happening and decided to use his voice to try to make a difference, say something about it. Then I think eventually got himself locked up as well. So I wanted to take a modern day take on that because I believe what's happening today, it's important for us to remember what happened before. Because if we're not careful, my friends, we'll find ourselves back in that same situation, and that's just not something I'd like to do. So, first they came for the blacks. As I was not one of them, I did not worry, and I bid them a good riddance. Then they came for the gays and lesbians, the bisexuals, questioning, and non-binary. Since I was none of the above, I did not concern myself. Then they came for the Jews. I thought to myself, the Jews have the wealth and the means to take care of themselves. And there was no need for me to speak out or get involved. So I did not. Then they came for all the people of color. But I was safe and I was comfortable. And so I slept. Then they came for the women. And this I questioned, but I kept looking forward, for I was not a woman and it was not my place to question. Then they came for me. And I wept. But there was no one left to care. There was no one left to stand for me, because I had chosen not to stand for anyone else. Now, to me, the situation that we're facing, have been facing today and over the last, well, I'll say the last few years, but it's really been a lot longer than that. All right, really been a lot longer than that. We've been waiting for change to come, and maybe it has so in increments, but not the way we truly desired. And sometimes the further you go away, the closer you find yourself to where you started. And I think that might be a situation we're finding ourselves in today. There's many things out there trying to divide us. And look, there's many things that need to be said, and that's why I'm saying it. The ish that needs to be said, my friends. There's a lot of things between Black Americans and the Jewish community that need to be resolved, that need to be healed, that need to be talked about, especially here in America, where some of that goes into racism. Because I myself ignorantly thought when I was younger that people who were Black could not be Jewish. And I think we as a culture, as a people, Black Americans, have always thought the same thing. Sammy Davis Jr., for being Jewish, he was outcast to a degree. A great degree. Because people thought, oh, he's not Black. I once watched an episode of The Real World where they had a gentleman, I forget what his name was, but he was Black and he was Jewish. And I just said, that's impossible. You can't be Black. I was a teenager at the time. I was like, only white people are Jewish. But that's not true, and that's not the history of the Jewish people. No, the Jewish people, it's a rich tapestry of humanity woven across these united stories of overcoming, of rising above and beyond, and of struggle, and of persecution. So there's many things that go into it. But I think many of us, regardless of our race, color, creed, religion, so forth, have these great stories that weave together this beautiful tapestry of humanity. But we don't look at the things that unite us, that bring us together, that are common to us. We look at the things that pull us apart, that destroy that beautiful tapestry. I'm not sure why we choose to, in a situation, especially amongst Black Americans and Jewish Americans, where there's many things for us to stand upon and stand together. Asian Americans and the Black community. There's a lot of healing there that needs to be done as well, on both sides. I know some people look at Asians and they call them the model minority, meaning, hey, if we got to accept the minority, it would be Asian Americans or Asians over Black Americans and Latinos and so forth. But we have a united and common thread of what we've gone through here in the United States of America. We have a common united thread of all the things that make us human. And now, I'm not going to leave out my white brothers and sisters, as we say, because there's a lot that unites us as well. From the things that we've gone through, many of you, so if you come to this country, whether you're Polish, you were Jewish, you were German, you were Italian, you were Irish. You come to the country and you face many of the same things, many of the same ignorances and prejudice, being discriminated against, having opportunities withheld from you. But through the process of assimilation, you were able to change and become a part of not the solution, but more of being able to be the guardian at the gate, to keep other people from those same opportunities at times, or hopefully open up the gate to allow other people to be a part of the opportunity, be a part of this rich tapestry of humanity that we call America. So even amongst us, there's many things that unite us and bring us together. I myself grew up where I was in Reading, Pennsylvania. There was a lot of diversity there, from Black, from Dominican, Puerto Rican, a lot of different diversity. But I also grew up in other areas that were, primarily white. I grew up in areas that were primarily white, but they were poor, in comparison to, middle class incomes. They were poor. They lived on food stamps and everything else. And at the time, going through that same situation, we did not stand apart. We stood together. We supported each other. The greatest thing about America, the greatest thing about being impoverished to me is the sense of community, of people coming together when they don't have anything, those walls of wealth, those walls of superficial nonsense that tear us apart, when we're all united together in this struggle for freedom, for survival, for making a better way for ourselves and our children. My grandmother-in-law, who is white and has passed away, God rest her soul, she told me of what it was like when they were in the Great Depression. Right? Everyone knows the Great Depression, right? Well, hopefully you do. And hopefully we don't have to experience that again. But during the Great Depression, it was a time of great turmoil, great lack, great ruin here in America, where people did not have enough to eat, to feed themselves. My grandmother-in-law told me stories of, for protein, for them going out and hunting rabbits and other animals, and that they used to be able to go into a line to get canned goods, canned goods that were dented or whatever else. So go in line to get these canned goods, but they didn't have the wrappers on them, so you didn't know what they were. So they'd have to take them home, and sometimes, you'd have a fruit, but your neighbor will have a vegetable. So you all got together. Here's a fruit, here's a vegetable. You all shared it. When I grew up and we were impoverished, there was times I had to go to the next door neighbor and said, we don't have bread, we don't have sugar, we don't have milk. And they would come to us and say the same thing, and we would support and care for each other. That sense of community is something that I miss. That sense of community is something that is the heartbeat, is at the core of who we are as a community, as a nation, as a humanity, globally, no matter race, color, or creed. That ability to stand together, to come together against the odds, is what has allowed us to flourish as a humanity, to still be here today. And the fact that we're tearing ourselves asunder and we're walking away from that, my friends, well, the ish that needs to be said is that's going to be our ultimate demise. The things that we're facing today, we got war over in Ukraine. We just have happened, war breaking out over in Israel, between Israel and Palestine, and Hamas. Things that are happening today aren't leading to a better way, aren't leading to our enlightenment, unless we decide to come together, to unite for a better tomorrow for each other. If we do not do that, if we choose not to, if we choose to stay in our silos, to fight against each other, we will lose. We are losing. We just don't recognize it already. And this world that we have been given, it's not our world. It's a world that we've been gifted with. It's a world that we've been given to nourish our souls, but we are here to nourish as well. We are here to grow, to build, to learn, to create a better tomorrow. Not just create where we take away, but create where we give. The greatest power, true secret here, true secret. I got to have you come a little closer, because this is the truest, one of the realest things I ever spoke as well. All right. True secret. Power is not in what you take. True power is in what you give. Because in what you give, you instill something greater and more in others in the world around you. And what you give, you get back. And receiving, you have to open yourself up to giving and receiving. What you give, you allow yourself to get back more than you could ever ask for or take. Because when you give to other people, they'll give back to you things that you can never make them give to you. That's why our society, in a way, is crumbling, because people have to have more and more resources because they have less and less resourcefulness, less and less connection to other human beings, less and less caring and giving to others. So instead of caring and giving to others, they take so that they can build and amass this overabundance, because now they have to pay for everything. They have to pay for those relationships they want. They have to pay to get things done. Before, through your building of relationships, you're caring about each other, the things that you gave to them. Your neighbor could give you that bread that nourished you, and you can give back to your neighbor, and that allows you to grow, get better, move forward, and be in a better situation. But now we find ourselves in a situation where we have to amass enough money where we can compensate for those things, where we don't need those relationships anymore, where we don't need those other people anymore, but we can pay to make them do the things that we need, but never give us the things that we truly want. Can't make someone give you their soul. Can't make someone give you their dedication. That's something they have to want to give to you. And most likely they'll only want to give to you, or for a short period of time they'll give that to you, only if they see that you're willing to give as well, willing to be a giving, caring human being. And if you're not that, then my friends, you need to amass a great deal of wealth to try to be something more, to try to be seen as something greater. But true power, you don't have to be seen as something more. You don't have to be seen as something greater. You don't have to have a huge ego, because you already connect with other human beings. You can walk around and be humble because you don't have to feel your brother or sister who knows that you've given to them, who knows that you uplifted and you believe in and you care about and you love them. You don't have to try to be something that is a caricature of yourself, of a human being. And we find ourselves through these broken non-relationships that we have today. Now we find ourselves in situations where we can no longer communicate because we're not giving back to each other. We don't trust each other. We're trying to take. And now we find ourselves in situations where more than likely we have to be involved in wars and so forth. So my greatest concern in all of this is the situations that we're facing in the Ukraine, the situations that we're facing in Israel and Palestine right now. It's not the end as far as the way that we're going right now. It's not the beginning, it's a continuation. A continuation of something potentially worse to come. Or it can be. It's a knock on doors, a knock of opportunity that I'm giving you here. It can be an opportunity for something greater, an opportunity for growth, an opportunity for understanding. We can turn this obstacle into an opportunity to grow, to become enlightened, to become the best parts of ourselves as a humanity, to become what and who we are meant to be as enlightened individuals who are truly using our power to create a difference, to give, to build, to construct, where we don't need money to circumvent humanity, but we can use our humanity to circumvent the money. We don't need the money because we have something greater. And we can use that to build, to grow, to establish the lifestyles that we desire. So my friends, I'm calling on all of you. I'm calling on all of you to come together, to wake up, to realize that we can't sit back in our deep slumber and say, I hope things get better. I hope that this isn't the continuation of something else, that it doesn't escalate. I just don't believe that to be the case. Maybe these situations will be resolved, but I believe if we don't step up to resolve them, how can they? And there's other people who are looking to amass what they believe is power, taking. So this is not the end. This is the continuation of something greater and more to come. As other people start to get involved, and as we, as the United States of America, start to utilize our resources, our so-called resources financially, militarily, will get to a point where we overextend ourselves and our quote-unquote resources. And I say resources because I think the greatest resource we can have is the relationships we develop, and the things that we give to help other people to grow. So at some point, the things we do now will not be enough. At some point, we'll be overextended because our resources won't be enough. They can't be enough because there'll always be another skirmish, another issue, another war, until we decide that as a humanity, war is not in our best interest. War is not in the best interest of our planet. We don't have to leave this planet. We can nurture this planet. We can love this planet. We can grow this planet. We can better this planet. And this is not about some utopian type of Pollyanna thinking. I don't believe in that. But war isn't our only way. War isn't our only discourse. When war happens, discourse is stopped. So if we're able to care about our brothers and sisters, if we're able to stop looking at special interest that allow us to destroy our own planet and put other people in such a situation where resources are scarce. Resources are scarce and people get scared and people have to fight for their lives, then guess what? We're going to be in trouble. And if we can't come together to solve some of these things that we're dealing with right now, my friends, we're going to be in trouble. But I do believe that we can come together to solve some of these things. And as we go forward, I'll be talking about more about how we can do that. Because I truly believe that this, as the poem goes, two roads diverged in the wood. And now we have the opportunity to choose the one less traveled, or we have the opportunity to go down the same old road that we've always gone down. And I do not believe that that road leads to our salvation or enlightenment. But if we can go down that road that's less traveled, the road that in the beginning will be harder because we have to build that road ourselves. We have to cultivate that road. We have to sculpt that road. We have to clear away the things that keep us from being able to traverse that road. But if we're able to do so, we build a whole new path towards growth, towards enlightenment, towards a new way of us communicating and coming together to solve the greatest issues of our time. And once we can do that, then, my friends, there's nothing that can stand in our way. There's nothing that can hold us back. There's nothing that can stop us from the growth that's to come. And more of the world will be opened up to us. So, let's stand together. We don't have to be afraid unless we choose not to act, or we choose to continue down the same path. Then we should be very afraid. But if we choose to say we can change the tide, we can change the path that we're on, choose to say we can make a better way for humanity, a better way for our children, a better way for their children, a better way for the future. If we choose that path that's been less traveled, then, my friends, tomorrow will be better than it has been today. We have the opportunity to do that. My hope is that through saying the ish that needs to be said, that we'll be able to come together, stand together, and do what needs to be done. I believe in you. I believe in humanity. I believe in all the things that can be and who we can be. So let's come together. Let's stand together. Let's unite for a better way, a better day. It won't be easy. It may be the hardest things that we've ever done. But I believe extinction is even more difficult. There was a quote that the dying is the easy part. Living is the hard part. I think Dr. King said, "I'm not afraid to die." He said, because he's seen the promised land. And I just want to say to you, don't be afraid of the unknown. Because through our collective work, we can make the unknown the known. And we can make it better than what we're facing right now here today. Thank you, everyone. God bless. This is Dominic Copeland, the ish that needs to be said. Please subscribe, hit the like button, come back, let me know your thoughts. This is a journey that we're going to be on, and I hope that you'll join me on this journey together. In fact, the only way that we can be on this journey is together. I'm not here to be on it by myself. I'm walking amongst the people. Let's gather. Let's congregate. Let's talk. Let's be amongst each other. Let's not be afraid together, right? Let's lead towards tomorrow together. Up this path, up this hill, around the corner, up to the promised land. Together we go. Keep believing, and I'll see you soon.